Rain lashed against the windshield. Sarah gripped the steering wheel, her knuckles white. Her shift at the hospital had been brutal, a symphony of beeping machines and frantic whispers. Now, she just wanted to get home. The storm had other plans. Thunder rattled the car, each boom echoing her racing heart. It was then Sarah realized her GPS had died. The road stretched before her, swallowed by darkness and rain. Each mile felt like 10, the storm an impenetrable curtain. She tried her phone, but the signal was gone, swallowed by the tempest. Sarah cursed under her breath. Why hadn't she checked the forecast? The rain intensified, blurring the world beyond the windshield. Trees swayed violently in the wind, their branches like skeletal fingers reaching for her car. A chill ran down Sarah's spine. This storm was more than just bad weather. It felt alive, malevolent. Hours seemed to pass. Sarah had lost all track of time. The road signs, once familiar markers, were gone, replaced by a seemingly endless stretch of asphalt. She was lost, utterly and terrifyingly lost. This desolate highway was a place where nightmares were born. She thought about calling for help, but what good would it do? No one would find her out here. Not in this storm. Not in this godforsaken place. The wind howled, a mournful sound that sent shivers down her spine. Sarah pressed on, hoping against hope that she might stumble upon a town, a gas station, anything. But there was nothing. Just the relentless rain, the howling wind, and the growing feeling that she was being watched. The hair on the back of her neck stood on end. In the rearview mirror, she saw a flicker of movement, a shadow, quick and indistinct, but definitely there. Her heart pounded in her chest. Was it just a trick of the light, or was it something else, something far more sinister? Sarah tried to shake off the feeling of dread. It was just her nerves, she told herself. The storm was playing tricks on her mind. But deep down, a primal fear began to take root. She glanced nervously at the rearview mirror again. The shadow was gone. She let out a breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. Maybe she was just imagining things. Maybe she was just tired and scared. Then it happened again. A flicker of movement in the back seat. This time, there was no mistaking it. Something was there. Something dark and shapeless. Something that wasn't supposed to be there. Panic welled up inside her like a scream trapped in her throat. She didn't dare turn around. She didn't want to see what was behind her. She just wanted to get away. But the storm raged on, and the figure in the back seat remained. Section 4, The Glowing Eyes. The figure in the back seat shifted again. This time, Sarah caught a glimpse of two glowing eyes. They were a sickly yellow, like the eyes of a predator, and they seemed to pierce through the darkness, boring into her soul. Terror, raw and primal, gripped her heart. Her foot slammed on the accelerator. The car lurched forward, tires struggling for purchase on the slick asphalt. She had to get away. She had to escape whatever nightmare was unfolding around her. But the car felt sluggish, as if some unseen force was holding it back. The storm intensified, the wind screaming like a banshee, the rain coming down in sheets so thick she could barely see the road ahead. And still, the eyes in the back seat watched her, their malevolent glow unwavering. Each flash of lightning illuminated the figure, a fleeting glimpse of something inhuman, something twisted and grotesque. Sarah screamed, a desperate, primal sound lost in the roar of the storm. Section 5, Trapped in the Tempest. The storm seemed to be laughing at her, mocking her terror. The wind buffeted the car, trying to shove it off the road. The rain hammered against the windows, blurring her vision. Sarah gripped the steering wheel so tightly, her knuckles turned white. She had never felt so alone, so utterly and completely lost. The world had shrunk down to the confines of her car, a metal cage hurtling through the storm. And inside that cage, she was trapped with something evil. The figure in the back seat remained, a silent, watchful presence. Its eyes never left her, their glow a constant reminder of the danger she was in. She didn't know what it wanted, but she knew it meant her harm. Her phone was long dead, her GPS useless. She was lost in a storm, hunted by something she couldn't explain. Despair threatened to consume her. Was this how it ended? Alone on a deserted highway, swallowed by the storm and whatever nightmare lurked in the back seat? Section 6. Welcome to Raven's Peak. Just when she thought all hope was lost, she saw it, a faint glow in the distance, cutting through the driving rain. As she drew closer, the glow resolved itself into a sign, a weathered, wooden sign that read, "Welcome to Raven's Peak." The town was small, just a handful of buildings huddled together as if for protection against the storm. The houses were dark, their windows like empty eyes staring back at her. The only light came from a flickering neon sign above a diner on the far side of town. She had no other choice. She had to get out of this storm, and Raven's Peak, as eerie as it seemed, was her only refuge. She pulled into town, the silence almost as unsettling as the storm she had just escaped. The figure in the back seat was gone, vanished without a trace. But the feeling of dread remained, a knot of fear in the pit of her stomach. She had escaped the storm, but she had a sinking feeling that her nightmare was just beginning. Section 7. Vanished without a trace. The diner was empty. The air hung heavy with the smell of stale coffee and something else, something Sarah couldn't quite place but sent shivers down her spine. She sat at the counter, trying to calm her racing heart. She tried calling for help, but the phone line was dead. She tried the diner's old payphone, but it just made a hollow, clicking sound. She was trapped, cut off from the outside world. Raven's Peak was her prison. Days turned into nights. The storm raged on, keeping the town shrouded in a perpetual twilight. Sarah searched for answers, for a way out, but found nothing. The townspeople remained hidden, their presence felt, but never seen. Then, one morning, Sarah's car was found abandoned in the town square. The driver's seat was empty, the keys still in the ignition. The only sign of Sarah was her purse, lying open on the passenger seat, its contents scattered like fallen leaves. The storm finally broke the next day, revealing a clear blue sky. But the eerie silence of Raven's Peak remained, a chilling testament to the mystery of Sarah's disappearance. The town stood silent, its secrets safe, a ghost town that had claimed another soul.